2-minute strict breaks in between every exercise, keeping that heart rate up, keeping that lactic acid buildup up, getting a crazy pump. So right now we're inducing a lot of muscle damage with the slow tempo and the negatives.
None of y'all stopping me, don't need the axe. Chopping trees, planting seeds, plotting schemes, crossing lines, dotting T's. Lines are blurred, I cannot see. Before I die, I'm top 3. Before I die, I'm top 3.
He's telling me how many reps I gotta do. Okay. Okay. What is going on, YouTube? You already know you're back with the Prez out here in Juniper Park today on my body weight shit again. I've been loving this high volume style of training. It's been really easy on the joints and not causing me any joint pain. And to be honest, the response that my body has been giving me as far as physique and the way the composition is playing out, I've still been in a pretty much of a calorie surplus now. I've been eating around 3,000, 3,100 calories again, which might be more of maintenance coming out of my cut when I was around 2,600 calories. And I've maintained the leanness I put on. I'm back close to 170 pounds when I got down to close to about 165 on my cut, right? So I maintained that leanness that I hit at 165, now back around 168 to 170. This high volume of training, like I said, it's gonna be building a lot of that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, really working on that metabolic stress, right? Building up those metabolites in the muscle. It's a completely different stimulus than training heavy weight with that high mechanical tension. Not saying one is better than the other, but it's good to, you know, go through each phase of training. You don't want to stay in one thing for too long because that's when the body starts to regress in that. And like I said many times, you guys know I was on a 7-month weighted calisthenic routine, right? It's very stressful on the nervous system. The heavier loads you move, the heavier loads that you start to move around, yes, the mechanical tension is high, but that central nervous system stress is also high. So classic upper body reps and sets calisthenic workout today. We're going to be training muscle ups, pull-ups, dips, everything, vertical and horizontal movements, everything falling in that hypertrophy rep range. Remember, you guys want to build muscle, make sure your sets fall within the 5 to 30 rep range. And when I say fall in that rep range, you want your sets to be taken close to failure, if not to failure. You don't want to go to failure initially in the workout. That's going to have a detriment over onto the sets to come. But as the workout goes on and you get closer to the end, that's when you can really start pushing failure on the sets, right? So full upper body calisthenic routine today. Let's go.
All right, guys, starting the routine off with the king of calisthenic exercises, the muscle up. Everybody's favorite move. It's probably what attracts most people to doing calisthenics. Now remember, this move can be trained for strength and hypertrophy as well. As long as the form is, you know, pretty clean and you can get repetitions falling in that, like I said, that 5 to 30 rep range, you're going to build muscle and you're going to build a ton of strength. And the reason why I love doing muscle ups, and as of late I've been implementing them a lot more lately. I took a very long time of not really training reps and sets of muscle ups. Back when I was doing my weighted work, I was doing some weighted muscle up sets, but the volume was very low and it was taking away from my weighted pull-up training. So I implemented them for a little bit and then I pretty much stopped doing them altogether. So lately I've been working back on building up my reps, and again at this higher body weight, right? 168, close to 170 pounds. 8 to 10 pounds heavier than I was last summer or any other summer compared to when I was training calisthenics, right? So this movement is always just going to have a great bang for your buck as far as stimulus to fatigue ratio. You're going to get a high stimulus with this exercise. I always felt like the movement itself of a muscle up, it just builds the physique different than anything else, right? That combination of an explosive pull with a dip and then a heavy, hard eccentric. Remember, when you're dropping down from the top of that bar, that's a heavy eccentric on the lats. I just feel like it builds the shape of the upper body unlike any other exercise. And again, it hits shoulders, chest, back, core, full body, and it teaches coordination and everything. So definitely everyone's favorite calisthenic movement. I'm trying to get back to, ideally I'd love to get back to doing sets of 15. The goal today was 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps. And after that third set, just because I only caught 6 reps on that set, I said let's jump in a band and let's add some more volume. So 1 band assisted drop set after the first 3, and I literally did this right after set 3. I just went, grabbed the band, threw it on the bar, and kept working under fatigue. So I think I bust out another 5 reps here. And don't be ashamed to use a band to help you get the reps in, especially if you want to add more volume. And if you can't do muscle-ups yet, try doing with a band.
Alright, first routine of the day, just bodyweight muscle-ups. 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps. Key thing here is strict 2-minute break. I did not let the break period last any longer than 2 minutes. You want to keep that fatigue high. You want to keep that lactic acid buildup high. Remember, this is hypertrophy training. You want to stress the muscle enough where it's getting fatigued. Strength training is the exact opposite. You do not want to go into a set fatigued. You want to be able to work through that fatigue with the hypertrophy rep ranges. That's why it was 8 reps set 1, 7 set 2, and then I dropped down to 6 on the 3rd set. Just because each set, the intensity just kept getting higher and higher due to the fatigue built up from the prior set. So now I'll take a nice 3-minute break, and I want you guys to follow this exact routine. Look, if you can't do muscle ups, right after my 3rd set, I only hit 6 reps. I dropped down, got into my blue band, and did 5 more band-assisted muscle ups for added volume. Now, if you can't do muscle ups yet, do this routine, same thing, 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps. Use a band for all the reps. If you still can't do it with a band, I told you guys many times, you can find a bar that's about head high. These muscle up jumps, they're gonna teach you that explosiveness and the transition. Starting a full lockout, jump over, lockout, drop all the way back down, back up. You can practice that. If you can't do those, you guys could do high pull-ups, as explosive as you can. Explosive pull-ups for as many reps as you can, and then find a bar. It could be a straight bar, it could be a dip bar, doesn't matter. And then come to a bar and hit straight bar dips, right? So you're still mimicking that motion of the muscle up, right? Which is the pull and the straight bar dip plus the transition. So 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps for the first routine, more to come. All right, now we got our pull push supersets. Again, you want everything to be falling in that 6 to 30 rep range. So I'm starting wide grip tempo pull-ups.
Alright guys, now we're going to get into some volume, some real calisthenic hypertrophy training. These are sets that you're not going to see your typical calisthenic athlete performing. Why? Because look at how slow and controlled I'm doing this set. Look at how long it's going to take me to complete a set of pull-ups and dips right after. You don't see anybody repping out pull-ups in this tempo with a nice contraction at the top, really focusing on mind-muscle connection. Everybody nowadays just wants to pump out reps for speed and for overall volume, right? That's going to build a lot of endurance, and you may get some effective muscle building reps in, but to make a body weight set look this hard or feel this hard, you have to really focus on using the muscle. You have to focus on contracting and squeezing the lats, really stimulating that muscle. You cannot hit a high rep set and be under that much control and feel the same tension that you're feeling when you're doing sets like this. So this takes a different type of mentality. It's not easy to go in and hit a set of 10 pull-ups slow and controlled when you know you could bust out a set of 30 if you're just banging them out quick and explosively, right? So different styles of training. If you want a specific goal, muscle building, focus on building muscle. Don't focusing on just getting in reps and reps and reps for the hell of it, right? So here, right after that pull-up set, we went straight into tempo dips here. You're going to see nice and controlled repetitions. 1 second down, nice and controlled. 1 second up, pausing on top. Here, my goal was to hit 20 to 30 reps a set on the dip. So 10 to 15 was the goal on the pulls, 20 to 30 on the dips, keeping it nice and controlled. So very high volume of sets, very long sets, very high time under tension here, guys. So guys, if anybody tells you you cannot build muscle with just your body weight, I want you to show them this exact set and have them perform it and see how well they do, and tell me that they're not going to get a high stimulus to fatigue ratio. There's muscle building potential when you're doing sets like this with your body weight nice and controlled, really feeling every repetition, extremely squeezing the muscle at the top, really feeling that muscle stretch to that full eccentric, full range of motion, fully locking out, fully engaging the lats, fully engaging the chest. Have somebody do that set just like this, the same tempo, and tell me they're not going to have a crazy pump, crazy muscle building signal.
Like I said, on the last sets, you could push it to failure. Only call 15 reps on this set of dips. I think maybe 9 or 10 pull-ups. The last two really struggled. Same thing. That's hitting muscular failure. 2-minute strict breaks in between every exercise, keeping that heart rate up, keeping that lactic acid buildup up, getting a crazy pump. So right now we're inducing a lot of muscle damage with the slow tempo and the negatives, as well as a lot of metabolic stress with the long time under tension and the high rep sets. What we're not really inducing too much is mechanical damage, which would be heavy loads. But remember, you can't get all types of stimulation, all three sources of stimulation to a muscle in one workout, because you can't have high mechanical tension and high metabolic stress in the same set, because you can't lift a heavy weight for a lot of repetitions, or else it's not heavy. So 3 rounds of this pull, push superset done, which was again vertical. Muscle up's gonna be vertical pulling and pushing, an explosive movement. These dips and pulls, vertical pulling and pushing. Now we're gonna move on to some horizontal work.
Alright, getting into another superset, pulling and pushing. Now we're going to get into our horizontal movements. Remember, vertical, we have our muscle up. It's going to be a vertical pulling and pushing. Then we have dips and pull-ups, another vertical movement. Vertical is going to work on, remember, you guys want a wide, you want that V taper. Those vertical movements are going to be best. You guys want to build thickness from front to back, a thick back, that thick chest. That's when you got to go, you guys got to work on these horizontal movements, right? So here we started with decline rows. Remember, this leverage or this angle that we're working on is going to be harder than if our feet are on the floor and our hands are fixed above us. Here, our hands and feet are fixed in the same plane and our body is hanging lower. So more gravity is hitting the upper back here. And then we're going to go into, again, more of an advanced push-up here, decline push-ups, and we're doing them on the parallettes for that extra added range of motion. These are going to really target that upper chest. So again, trying to keep it nice and slow and controlled, not as slow and controlled as the dips and the pull-ups, because the fatigue that we already have built up is extremely high. So the muscle building signal now for every exercise is going to be very high. Still working full range of motion, getting that extra deep stretch, especially on these push-ups, and then really locking out, squeezing, trying to bring those parallettes together to get that contraction of the chest. 3 sets here. On the rows, we wanted 10 to 15 reps, and we tried to match it in the push-ups. Both exercises here, extremely tough, especially with all the fatigue built up. And you're going to see, as sets 2 and sets 3, by the time I'm done with those pushes, you're going to see how exhausted I am. And just look at the back gains here, guys. Look at the thickness. Look at how nice this movement really works on that thickness of the upper back. You guys can see that taper down, that narrow waist, everything. I'm staying pretty lean, like I said, guys, while I'm gaining muscle now. So I'm back up to close to 170 pounds at pretty much the leanest I got to during my cut, right? And my calories, like I said, I'm back up to eating close to 3,100 calories, which will soon be up to 3,500 calories. And I might even push 4,000 this winter, really try to pack on the pounds. And unsure if I'm going to go back to weighted, when I'm going to go back to the weighted sets yet. I wanted to get back to them, but I'm just really responding well to this high volume body weight stuff right now. So I'm going to stay in this style of training for a while until I feel like I'm hitting a plateau. So 3 sets here of the superset work. Let's go. And that was pretty much a wrap for the main work of the routine, right? I had a little extra time on my hands, so I decided to do some arm isolation work. I did 2 sets of bicep and tricep supersets. Here you're going to see I'm doing body weight bicep curls. This is a pretty tough movement or variation right here, and you do get a high stimulation. You get a nice amount of load in the stretch, and you do get a nice amount of load in the fully contracted portion of the rep also. This is very similar to doing these on the rings. And I supersetted those with body weight tricep extension, which you guys have seen me do in the past also. Again, this is going to really stimulate the stretch aspect of this movement. You're going to have a high load in the stretch, which is going to be here in the bottom portion of the repetition, where you can induce the most muscle damage. So I did like 8 to 10 reps on both exercises here as a superset, and I only did 2 rounds of this. But if you don't have the time, you don't have to throw this arm work in. You're going to get a lot of arm stimulation just from all the pulling and pushing work done throughout the whole workout in itself. But again, this workout didn't take me that long. I did 3 sets of muscle ups, 3 sets of pulling and pushing supersets, and then another 3 set supersets. So 9 total sets with a strict 2-minute break in between everything. So this whole workout was done in less than 45 minutes. We created a high amount of stress on the body. Try it out, and I guarantee you're going to get a lot of stimulation also.
Wrap for the full upper body weight only calisthenic routine. This is going to really stimulate a lot of muscle growth. If you train properly, follow the rest periods, hit the proper required rep ranges. Remember, you have a wide range of reps that you can fall into in order for this routine to become effective. It could be as low as 6, as high as 30. So keep that tempo accordingly to make the reps fall into that rep range. You saw muscle ups. They're going to be an explosive, powerful movement. You want to train them first in the routine. 3 sets. I kept my cap that I knew my range was going to fall within that 6 to 10 rep range. And that's literally exactly what I hit. I hit 8, 7, 6 for sets 1, 2, 3. Strict 2-minute break. Every set, a little bit more fatigue was accumulated from the previous set. Then we went into a pull, push, superset. 2 more vertical movements. Tempo, wide grip pull-ups, nice tempo dips. Again, both exercises falling in that 8 to 30 rep range, going to just about muscular failure on every set. Then we finished off with some horizontal pulling and pushing supersets. Decline rows with my feet higher than my hands. It's going to make them slightly harder. And deficit push-ups with my feet higher than my hands again, which is going to put more emphasis on the upper chest. Those 2 movements again, I didn't really worry about tempo just because I had a lot of fatigue built up. Then I was just trying to pump out the reps as controlled as possible, still trying to get a nice controlled negative, full range of motion every set, every rep, every exercise. That's key with hypertrophy training. You really want to focus on and feeling those muscles that we want to be training, working every rep through the full range. So try this routine out. You do not have to hit the same exact number of reps that I did, but follow the break periods, follow the exercise order, and follow the regressions that I showed you for the muscle-ups. You can't do muscle-ups yet. You guys should, if you're training calisthenics and you have any inkling of doing this routine and you can't do the muscle-ups yet, you better be able to hit those pull-ups and dips the best of your ability, right? I don't care if it's 5 pull-ups and 10 dips, as long as they're hard enough where you're coming just about to failure every set. Keeping that break period just about 2 minutes, no longer. More beginners, you could go up to 2.5, maybe 3 minutes as the sets go on, right? Just because you want to make sure you still fall in the rep range and you don't want to drop off too many, you don't want to have too big of a drop off in repetitions. But keep the sets and the reps strict, progressively overload from workout to workout. This routine could literally be copied, and you could do this 2 to 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday upper, Wednesday lower, Friday repeat this upper body, trying to progress until you can hit the top M rep ranges of everything. So until I can hit 10 sets, 3 sets of 10 muscle ups, 3 sets of, let's just say 15 tempo dips, supersetted with 3 sets of 30. Tempo pulls, supersetted with 3 sets of 30 dips. Until I get to that level, I can stay at body weight. And then when it's time for me to add weight, if I hit that, I could literally just do a 10-pound jump, add 10 pounds to my body weight, and continue with the same exercise, same reps, same sets. And you can keep on this solid training for a good 3 months, right? Once 3 months is up, then you can move into more of a strength training phase, or more of a pump and more, just faster repetitions. So you want to stay in a phase of training for, you want your body to adapt. You want to get good at a certain aspect of training. Stay in that periodization for long enough to reap the benefits of adaptation. And then once you start almost plateauing, then you move into a different stimulus of training. Strength training, more endurance work, whatever that you're not working on at the current time. So try this routine out. I guarantee you're going to feel super lit after, like I feel right now, exhausted. And I don't think the workout took me maybe total 40 minutes. When you keep in the strict break periods, the routine's going to move by pretty fast, right? And that's going to make it exponentially harder. So try this routine out. Tag me in it. Let me know how it goes. You have a question or comment, leave it in the comment section. I'll always get back to you guys. Like the video. It helps YouTube share it more and more. Share the video yourself with your friends and your family. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep this channel growing, guys. Like always, peace out. BARNATURALS.
No sad story, I ain't here for a symphony, no sympathy. When I was on the bench, you wouldn't sit with me. Now I'm on the court and I'm balling, my time's coming.